To manage some of the settings of my virtual machine, I'm just going to right-click the virtual machine itself. Settings is in the list. When I choose that, it brings up the settings for that virtual machine I'm actually on. If you have multiple virtual machines, this is a virtual machine by virtual machine setting. So you'd go to each VM and you'd define the settings you actually want. If I go to the network adapter, when I installed the virtual machine earlier, we saw the ability to connect it to a virtual switch. If I want to make any changes to that, I could come here to the network adapter and I have the virtual switch. If I click this down arrow, it'll give me a list of every virtual switch that exists, and I could simply move this virtual machine from one switch to another. I also have the option to enable bandwidth management. Bandwidth management allows me to specify a minimum and a maximum amount of bandwidth that this VM can actually consume. So it gives me complete resource control at the network level. I also have an option for VLAN tagging. If I select this VLAN ID, I can specify a VLAN that I want this virtual machine to communicate with. A VLAN, or virtual LAN, is a way to segment a network at a switch level, often referred to as layer 2. An example of when I would want to do this. Let's say in my environment, I have a lot of file servers, application servers, and I also have a telephony system that carries all my voice traffic. Well, it's pretty common that I want to separate voice traffic and data traffic. One way to do that is to build virtual LANs. It may be too costly to build out a separate physical LAN to carry different types of traffic, so instead I could simply go to my switches and I could say this virtual machine is on VLAN, in this case, VLAN number 2. I could build out a telephony server here that carries all my voice traffic, and I could go and say that is on VLAN number 3. Well, you can only communicate with devices on your same VLAN number. So if my file server is on VLAN 2, that would mean all my users that connect to this from their computers, they would all have to communicate on VLAN 2. My phone system, if I set that up on VLAN 3, all the phones, all the services they need would have to operate on VLAN 3. So this is simply a way to separate a network virtually without building out separate infrastructures. So VLAN tagging is what that is called.